So compression is really good and absolutely necessary for what we are doing in recording. I'm going to come over here and undo this. Now let's go down and look at some of the other plugins available in the Waves bundle. We'll click up here on our insert. We'll go to Waves. This is a mono track, so we'll go mono. Let's look at a noise gate. They say a noise gate is the opposite of a compressor, but that's a little confusing when you think of it. Remember, if you didn't see our C1 compressor tutorial, please watch it. But remember, what a compressor does is if your volume goes above the threshold, the compressor kicks on, and if the volume drops below the threshold, the compressor kicks off. It's the opposite with a gate. When the volume goes above the threshold, the gate is off, and when the volume goes below the threshold, the gate kicks on. Basically, what a noise gate does is it's supposed to cut out all the noise in between the vocal. You may get headphone bleed or drums or anything bleeding in between the vocal. So long story short, what a noise gate does is when the singer sings, the gate opens and you can hear the track. And when the singer stops singing, the volume drops below the threshold and shuts the gate off, which kills the noise. Which means when you sing, your track or your mic is turning on, and when you stop singing, the gate is automatically turning the sound off. That'll get rid of headphone bleed and things like that in the background. So let's look at a C1 gate right here, and let's make it work. We're going to want to set our threshold above the noise, so it cuts the noise out, and we're going to want to set it below the headphone bleed, so it cuts that headphone bleed out. Let's audition this track here.
Everything we do, we show.
Okay, in the Waves bundle, here's actually your gate threshold right here. This is actually a noise gate expander. We're going to look at that in a minute. But here's your threshold. You'll see that the graphic here looks different than the compressor. It's like a similar screen, but it looks different. Basically what happens is our threshold is set at -40 right now. So if the volume goes above -40, the gate is open and you have normal dynamic range. But once the volume drops below 40, the gate shuts off and the noise is stopped. Let's check and see if we can make that happen here.
Everything we do, we show love, we show love. In everything we do, we show love, show love.
See, if I turn it up too much, it cuts all the sound off.
Show love. Everything we do, we show love, we show love. In everything we do, we show love, we
So
show
our end goal in this example is to have the vocal, when they sing, the vocal to be up in here so the gate is open and you can hear the singing. And then when the person stops singing, we want the gate to drop down below here so it shuts the microphone off. This way you won't get any headphone bleed on your mix. I would totally recommend that you gate before you compress, because you want to gate out the noise. A compression would actually turn up the noise in between the vocal, would actually turn up the headphone noise, or it could actually turn up the headphone noise in between the vocal. But if you gate the noise out in between the vocal before you compress it, then there's no noise for the gate to turn up.